Alrighty. So, this is obviously the practice speech. I submitted it once, but I did it through QuickTime because my mind was not working. Just wasn't working. But, anywho, so we're gonna just go about this. It's not completely done, obviously, because it's a practice speech. I want to throw in some more good points because I don't think I have enough of those, but it's whatever. So, my name is Chloe Coyle. I am a sophomore this year. Some interesting things really to know about me is my older sister goes here. Her name's Abby Coyle. That's where a lot of the older upperclassmen acknowledge me from. Say I look like, it's whatever it goes. But I run cross country. I have been doing cross country for 3 years. I've been running for 4 though, because I did track. The story behind me is a very interesting one. I mean, the main things that shape my life sadly aren't all positive. A lot of them aren't, but some key points to acknowledge is my parents are divorced. I feel like it's a lot of parents nowadays, but mine are divorced. My dad remarried to my stepmom, JC Coyle, who is absolutely outstanding. When I refer to my mom, it's usually referring to JC. My stepmom got remarried too, but that's something we'll get to a little bit later. They got divorced after they both went to prison, which is another one of my main defining points. My parents went to prison when I was in third grade, the end of second grade. It was when I went birthday shopping actually for my birthday, but they were arrested they were caught in possession of drugs and selling drugs. So I was very lucky that my grandmother decided to get her foster license to watch us instead of us going into the system. I lived with my grandma for 2 years. She's a very sweet lady. So, my mom got out a year into my dad's 2-year sentence because he cut a deal to get her out early in hopes that she'd get better and watch over me and my 2 sisters, Abby and Haley. She ended up going back in about a month later. So I continued to live with my grandma until my dad got out, and he moved up to Lebanon until he got everything in order to come get us back. While in Lebanon, he did meet my stepmother, and later we moved from Pittsboro, Tri-West roughly, to Lebanon. I started school here in Lebanon at 5th grade. My mom got out again. This is another one of my main defining points. She got married, but before she got married, she was roommates with this person. She said they were only roommates for a year, and it turns out that whole time she was hiding her engagement from me and my other sisters. And we weren't invited to her wedding. Now, I was raised Christian. My mom was Christian for a while. She's not anymore. My dad still is Christian. That's my religion. I'm Christian. And I have nothing wrong with the LGBTQ community. I support it. You love who you love. But out of nowhere, my mom got married to a woman. She didn't tell us for a year, which was probably what angered me the most. But I was really confused at the time because it was a few years ago and I was a lot younger. So it was a very interesting time. My mom lives up in Indy. But my dad got married to my stepmom, JC, and they ended up having one kid together, Emberlyn. She is my youngest. She's my stepsister. Well, half-sister, technically. And then JC already had a kid. Her name was Lillian. She is my stepsister. So, I moved up here in Lebanon with all the past nonsense. I managed, I'm not sure how, looking back at it, but I managed to remain a straight-A student. I have been a straight-A student the majority of my school career. I'm in honors classes. I still am a straight-A student. I am a varsity athlete. I am very commonly known for cross country. That's a main defining point for me too. Cross country is my life. I absolutely adore the team. I adore the coaches. I hate running. So the sport itself is kind of rough, but I wouldn't trade the team or my experience with it for anything in the world. I absolutely love it. I don't like I said earlier, I want to find more happy points because I am extremely grateful for my stepmom, JC. I'm extremely grateful that we moved up here in Lebanon. I am cross country is amazing. It has defined me for the past 2 years now. Even though I've been running for 4, my middle school experience with it was not the best. But it's all just, it's a lot of bad in my past leading up to what happened recently. I mean, I feel like, all in all, I wouldn't trade my experience with it for anything because no matter how much it sucked, my time in elementary school, 3rd, 4th grade, without having parents and having to say it was my grandma watching over me and all that's happened, it has got me where I am today, and I wouldn't change where I am today for anything. My past experience also has pushed me into, I want to go into the military after. My real mom doesn't like that at all. She says I'm too smart for it, which kind of it irritates me to no end. But I am going into the military after I graduate. My real mom, that's going to be a thing that kind of, if I'm in a bad mood, most of the time it'll usually be from her. She's medically bipolar. She was diagnosed when I was really young. She refuses to admit it now, but she is medically bipolar. She is a pathological liar. She's a very interesting character. I still have weekly visits with her, but me and her don't get along at all. We don't see eye to eye, so it's its whole own thing, I guess. I mean, I kind of just go with it. Like I said, I wouldn't trade my experiences with anybody. I wouldn't trade them for anything because they got me where I am today, and I'm very proud of where I am today. I am now getting my permit. I got a job a year ago, so when I was 14 is when I started working. I work at Base, which is another amazing thing I absolutely adore. My kids are terrible sometimes, but I love them to death. I work with the pre-K. I guess, like, all in all, my past, most people, if they hear the backstory behind me, they wouldn't expect me to be a honors straight A student, a varsity athlete, a kid already working, but it kind of pushed me into it. It kind of did the opposite for my older and younger sister, but my past did push me into wanting to be a lot better than I wanted to defy the stereotype. Even though I don't dress like it, I have gotten so many comments, especially last year, about the way I dress not looking like I'm a straight A student. But, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't change my experience for anything. I mean, it defines me. It kind of sucks sometimes. It still does, especially with my mom. But as I grow up, I'm starting to appreciate it a whole lot more. I mean, it's a great experience to help some of my kids at Base are running through similar issues, especially some of the older ones. So it does help me use my experience as an example to help push them forward, showing them it doesn't define them either. So I'm going to work on having more positive points. This is the practice speech, but I want to have more positive points in my other speech because I don't like all the negativity in this one. But that's my speech.